Hello, bonjour, welcome. My name is Nicole Fontaine, Business Development Officer at the World Trade Centre Winnipeg. I would like to begin by respectfully acknowledging that this webinar is coming to you from Treaty 1 territory, the traditional territory of the First Nations and the homeland of the Métis. Thank you for joining us for our new e-commerce series developed by the World Trade Centre Winnipeg and Tech Manitoba. This series is designed to help companies deepen their knowledge of e-commerce and digital strategy for international sales. The series will be delivered by industry experts who will answer all your questions and share their tips and best practices on a range of topics, such as digital transformation, international sales, online sales, and increasing your digital footprint. Today's webinar in the e-commerce series is entitled Digital Presence, a series social media, which will be presented by Newnham. Digital marketing is the highest growth area in almost all businesses. However, there are many business professionals, marketers, and PR leaders that don't understand digital marketing. Newnham, founder of TMD Winnipeg, helps you keep up to date with the latest marketing skills and helps local businesses address challenges that they face online and in the marketplace. Let's welcome Aaron.
Me?
Oh, now we can.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Sorry about that. Welcome everyone, and thanks so much for joining us this morning. Thank you, Nicole, for that introduction. Today we're going to be talking about how to utilize... Oh, we're muted again. Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Okay, sorry, I'm not sure what's going on there. So today we're going to be discussing how to build a strong social presence and also how to utilize social media to generate leads for your business. Throughout the presentation, we're going to talk about a few different things. We'll discuss who your ideal customer is and who your ideal client is. We'll talk a little bit about the consumer journey in 2020. We'll also discuss how marketing has changed over recent years, and particularly over the last 12 months with COVID having such a big impact on our lives, but also on our businesses and how we market our businesses. We'll talk about how improving your social media presence will also help you build a stronger digital reputation. And we'll also talk about how to use social media to find and generate leads for your business as well. So a little bit about TMD Marketing. So we are a small digital marketing agency here in the city, and we exist primarily to help small and medium-sized businesses establish strong digital footprints. So we basically help those businesses that are looking to transition from a more traditional marketing strategy into the digital world. So we help with website development, e-commerce websites. We help with social media, SEO, digital advertising, all those things that are required to build a strong digital footprint. Our approach is centered around learning. So a lot of the work that we do and a lot of the clients that we work with, we actually take them through courses like this and help them to understand the hows and whys of what we're doing. So we've been open for about 6 years now and have a very diverse range of clients, ranging from restaurants through to manufacturing companies, some medical professionals. So we can work with a whole range of different clients in different industries. So one of the things that I wanted to kick today's presentation off with was talking about who your ideal customer is. It's really critical and it's really important to understand that, because regardless of whether you are developing a content marketing strategy or a social media strategy or a web strategy, it all needs to start with who are you developing it for? Who is your ideal client and who is your ideal customer? So some of the exercises that we'll often take clients through to help them understand this, if they don't already know, are things like developing an elevator pitch. So thinking about what you offer, How can you describe your products and services in a really short, concise, and clear explanation? And generally, you don't want this to go any more than 60 seconds or a couple of paragraphs. But the idea here is to really try and refine in your head what it is that you offer, what benefits the client will receive from dealing with you, and how you're differentiated from your competitors. So some of the things that you can do to help you develop an elevator pitch are things like understanding what it is that you're selling. And while that might sound like a silly question, it's not, because when you think about it in the terms of, what is the emotional benefit that your potential customer receives from buying your products or services, you'll soon discover that that's completely different to the tangible product that you sell. So for example, when you think about Apple, so Apple sells iPhones and Macs and watches and all this different hardware. But the way that they market those products, or the way that they sell those products, is by selling innovation. So all of their advertising, all of their marketing is focused around you, the consumer, buying the latest gadget, the most innovative product. That's why they do those big product launches and they leak images, because they want their audience to feel and to understand that they're buying the latest technology. They're buying innovation. FedEx. So when they sell their services, they're not selling mail delivery or package delivery. They're selling dependability. So, if you want something delivered on time, on budget, to the right place, use FedEx because they're dependable. There's a cafe chain in the US called Victor Cafe. And they actually have opera singers that come in every hour on the hour and sing opera. It's an Italian restaurant chain. So, if you were to ask the guests why they chose to dine at Victor Cafe, it's not because of the incredible Italian food. It's because of this awesome experience that they're going to have. It's because of where else can you go and listen to opera singers tableside? Visa sells convenience. Visa is certainly not the cheapest credit card on the market, but it's accepted everywhere. So it's super convenient. So Visa sells their services based on the fact that you can use it anywhere. We're really convenient. And Nike. So Nike sells tennis shoes. They sell, apparel and merchandise. But really what they're selling the consumer is motivation. They're selling the consumer that mindset that if you're buying Nike products, then you must be motivated to improve your health or to, go out and exercise more. So it's all about motivation. So again, when I ask that question, what is it that you sell? Think about it in these terms. Think about the emotional benefit that you're providing your customers. So the other thing that's important when developing a buyer persona or elevator pitch is, what is the key direction that you want your messaging to focus on? Do you want it to focus on the fact that you offer great service, or that you have an unusual product or a unique selling feature? Is it the quality of the product or service? Is it the experience? So think about, what is the core focus that you want your message and your marketing materials to focus on? The other thing that's really important in developing a buyer persona or a pitch is the tone that you want to present your business in. Do you want your business and the messaging to come across as being really energetic, or should it perhaps be a little bit more conservative? Are you in a position to be a little playful with your messaging and the tone that you use? Or is it really funky or elegant or high tech or very personal, bold, soft? So again, thinking about the tone that you want to deliver your messaging in is critical as well. And then reach. So of course, understanding what demographic you want to reach. So Obviously, age categories are very important to help you develop the right messaging, but also, who in that age category is going to be purchasing your products and services? Is it a B2B product? Is it business to consumer? Is it men, women, boys, girls? So go through that process of really narrowing down who it is that you're trying to reach. And then you need to think about, put yourself in your customer's shoes. What is it that they care about when they're doing business with you? Is it that do they care that you have 30 years experience in the industry? Do they care that you have an incredible, huge office with a fancy coffee machine? What do they care about? Put yourself in their shoes and think about, what is it that they care about? Because often we'll see businesses, promote what they care about. We're on the 50th floor of this amazing high rise and we have all these wonderful views, and nobody cares about that. Or we have, combined 150 years experience. Again, nobody really cares about that. There's no emotional benefit there for them. So think about what your customers care about. Marketing needs and requirements. So why do they need your product or service? And what's going to make them buy it? What competitive forces are in the marketplace? So what is the key decision factor that makes them want to choose your product or service over a competitor? Is it price? Is it service? Is it support? Is it availability? Is it quality of product? Think about what is the buying process that a client or a customer might go through. And communication. So again, once you have an understanding of who your ideal client is, you should try and understand what segment they go to for information on your products or services. Are they regular web users? Do they use Google? Are they trade show attendees? Do they read trade publications? Do they respond better to more traditional media like print ads, TV, radio? Or are they on social media? So again, once you understand who your ideal client is, you need to have an understanding of how they wish to be communicated to. And then the last thing is understanding what is it that makes your business remarkable. What makes you stand out? What is your purple cow? This example, the purple cow, comes from a book that a marketing guru by the name of Seth Godin wrote years and years ago. And he spoke about driving through the European countryside and was amazed at all of these dairy farms that were popping up on the sides of the road. And he wondered, how do these guys make a living? There's so many of them. How do they sell their milk and their services or whatever it is? And this is one of the things he came up with. Well, maybe one of them needs to paint their cows purple to really stand out. So the point here is, what is it that makes you remarkable and different from your competitors? Really think about that and focus on that. So with that being said, let's take a look at the consumer journey of 2020. The old consumer journey used to look a little bit like this. You could run advertisements and build stimulus and awareness in the marketplace for a product or service. After seeing those ads, a potential customer would decide, hey, that looks awesome. I'm going to go and check that product out. So, they would either come and visit your store, or they'd go directly to your website. They would come and check it out. They'd make the purchase, and then they'd share their experience with family or friends. So that's the old consumer journey. The new consumer journey looks a little bit like this. So we're still running advertisements and we're still building awareness for products and services in the marketplace, and that's still very important. But the very next thing that we do is, instead of making the decision after seeing those advertisements to visit the store or visit the business, we're actually educating ourselves. We're jumping on our cell phones and we are Googling. We're looking for information. We're educating ourselves on the product or service that we've been made aware of. Only once we're happy with the information that we've found do we then make the decision to connect with the business. And then, of course, if we do go through with a purchase, we're still sharing our experiences we're still sharing our experiences. We're just sharing them in a different way. We're sharing them online now. So we're leaving Google reviews. We're writing posts on social media. We're sharing our experiences digitally. So there's 2 points through this consumer journey that Google has identified as being absolutely critical with respect to somebody deciding whether or not they're going to do business with you. The first point, of course, is that point of findability. So, after they've been made aware of your products or services, how easy is it for them to find information about your business online? So making sure that it is easy is a critical component of potentially winning that business. The other point that's really important is that post-purchase experience. So one of the things that leads people to decide whether or not they want to do business with you is the information that they find online. Is it credible? Does it lead them to want to make the purchase? Do you have lots of positive reviews? Do you have people talking about your products and services on social media? So that post-purchase experience and encouraging previous clients to share their experience is a critical component of getting that next customer to want to do business with you. So it's really important that you stand out where people are making decisions. So 93% of businesses are found based on information that customers and consumers find online. So thinking about your businesses and the industry that you're in, think about what types of platforms that make sense for you to be listed on. There are certainly some major platforms that all businesses should be listed on. Platforms like Google My Business are really important. Yelp is very important. Voice search platforms are becoming more and more important. So platforms like Siri and different voice platforms like Amazon and Alexa. So making sure that you stand out in places where people are looking for information is critical. So there are different channels impacting the customer journey. So the first one is awareness. Now, there are lots of things that you can do as a business owner to build awareness in the marketplace. You can run things like social media and search advertising, and even do what's called retargeting. So retargeting, as most of you have probably experienced this from a consumer standpoint, is let's say you're interested in a product or a service. So you Google that product or service, and I'll use a snow blower as an example. So I want to buy a new snow blower in preparation for winter. So I Google, snow blowers on sale or snow blower. So I end up on the Canadian Tire website. I look through some snow blowers. I go to the Home Depot website. I look through some snow blowers. But then I decide, you know what, I'll just leave it for now and I'll get it later on. But then all of a sudden, I start seeing ads for snow blowers everywhere. They come up in my social media feed. They come up on different websites that I visit. I see these ads everywhere. So now I'm being persuaded to really, go and buy that snowblower. So social media, search advertising are really important to help build awareness. Automated email campaigns. If you have an email list, so sending a regular email to your clients or potential clients is a great way to keep awareness going and to generate interest for new products or services. Text marketing is one that we're seeing a lot more of lately. Loyalty programs, video ads on YouTube or other video platforms, TV, billboard ads, more traditional type of marketing like online display advertising, newspaper or print advertising, radio and word of mouth. So these are all great tools to help you build awareness for products or services. The next one is findability. Yeah, so the next one is findability. So you've built awareness. So how do you make it easy for people to find you? So there are a few different things you can do. Organic search or SEO. So making sure that you show up in Google searches when people are searching for your products and services. So again, I type in snowblower. How do I make sure that my website, or how do I make sure that if I'm selling snowblowers, that my website shows up as high as I can in Google? That's SEO. Pay-per-click ads. So if you're a brand new business and you haven't invested in SEO, or SEO takes quite a bit of time to set up and get working appropriately. But if you're a brand new business and you want leads immediately, you can actually pay Google for the privilege of showing up at the top of those Google searches by buying pay-per-click ads or Google ads. Google Maps and Apple Map listings. So if you rely on walk-in traffic, making sure that you're listed on those map platforms is critical. Making sure you're listed in different online business directories is really important. And again, apps related to your industry, product, or service is important as well. And voice search platforms like Siri and Alexa. So the idea here is look for platforms that make it easy for your customers to find you online. Reputation. So you've built awareness, you've made it easy for people to find you. How do you make sure that the information they find is credible and leads them to want to do business with you? Well, you can do that in a few different ways. You can create articles and blog posts that help position you as an industry leader and as an industry expert. You can encourage your existing clients to leave reviews for you on platforms like Google My Business and even Facebook, Yelp. Ask them to leave reviews for you. Ask people to share their experiences on social media. And of course, make sure you ask your family and friends to share information on your business on their social profiles and on their online platforms as well. So all of these things will help you build a strong reputation that hopefully helps persuade that potential client to pick up the phone or to visit your website or to actually come and visit you. So you've built awareness, you've made it easy for people to find you. You have made sure that the information they find is credible and leads them to want to do business. The next point is making sure that it's easy to convert and easy for them to actually follow through with the purchase and do business with you. So how do you do that? There's a few different things you can do. Again, if you know who your ideal customer is, you can embed different conversion tools that are focused on that particular customer. So for example, if you know that your ideal clients are big users of Messenger or Facebook, for example, you can actually put a Messenger chatbot on your website so that when they click on that, it opens up their Messenger account so you can communicate with them through Facebook Messenger. If you know that your ideal client prefers to speak with somebody, make sure you have strong phone call buttons on the website. If your product or service needs to be quoted, for example, making it easy for people to request a quote. So have a form set up so it's easy for them to request that quote. So the idea here is you want to make it as simple as possible for people to convert and to provide you with their information or to encourage them to purchase. And then the last thing is advocacy. So hopefully, after making it easy for them to convert, they do go through with the purchase and they do business with you. Now you need to try and convert them into advocates for your business. So there are a few different ways you can do that. You can encourage them to post their experience on social media. You can ask them to write a review. You can ask them to share their experience with their family and friends. And you can even ask them to create a blog post or either be a guest on your blog, or if they have a website, ask them to talk about your product or service on their website. So again, create some content focused on trying to persuade that next potential customer. So again, there are lots of channels impacting the customer journey. However, one of the things you'll notice is that on every step of this customer journey, there is a strong social media presence involved. And that's why, lots of marketers will tell you that it's critical to be active and engaged on social media in 2020. Now, where is the smartest place to start in building a digital footprint? Obviously, the conversion point is the most critical, making sure that your foundation is built and is solid is the most important part. So focus on building that web presence out first. And simultaneously, you can work on improving your SEO, improving your reputation by creating awesome content. And then, of course, while you're doing that, any clients that are coming through the door, turning them into advocates and getting them to create or post reviews and to share their experience. So the last thing that you do is advertise your products or services, because until you've built that foundation, it's going to be really, really difficult for you to convert anybody online. So how do you build a reputation? Reputation management is really just being intelligent about how people view your business online. There are two areas that really will help you build a strong reputation online. One of them is business and social media platforms. So, creating listings for your business on different business directories and things like that, and creating social media accounts and being active on social media. And then the second one is reviews. So simply getting as many people to leave as many reviews as possible. So 97% of consumers find local businesses info on the web, and 90% of consumers make decisions based on what online reviews say. And everyone and their dog has an opinion. Almost everyone's on social media and they're sharing their experiences online. Just had the worst meal of my life at XYZ restaurant in Winnipeg. Fries were soggy and the service was terrible. But then the next customer comes in and says, best poutine ever. Oh my God, you have to try XYZ poutine in Winnipeg. So the point here is we're all sharing our experiences online. We're all talking about businesses and we're sharing that info. Nicole, are you there? I think did we just have a question come in?
Yes. How do you get reviews on and so on to develop your reputation when you are branding a new startup with no clients yet?
Yeah. So what you would need to do is, first of all, focus on building yourself as an industry expert. So, create some content focused on helping you to try and persuade people to do business with you. You can't create reviews from nowhere. So if you don't have any clients, it's gonna be very difficult for you to generate reviews. But I would focus on building that strong, credible reputation by creating content that's focused on trying to persuade people to do business with you. And then the moment that they do business with you, ask them to leave a review. The other thing that I've seen some businesses do that is a little bit, I won't say cheating, but one thing that you can do is, send an email to people that you're working with. So they may not have completed a transaction, and they may not be, a previous client. But send an email to clients that you're working with and say, hey, listen, we really appreciate that you've chosen to do business with us, or you're thinking about doing business with us. We'd love to learn about the experience you've had so far. If you wouldn't mind, just leave us a review on Google and let us know how you think we're going. That way you can start to build some of that reputation right off the bat. So everyone and their dog has an opinion, and they're sharing those opinions online. But they're not just sharing them on Facebook, and they're not just sharing them on Twitter. They're sharing them in a bunch of different places. They're sharing them on platforms like TripAdvisor and Yelp and Google Reviews, but also on a bunch of different platforms you may not have heard of before. 411.ca, weblocal.ca, yellowpages.ca, Yelp, of course, Cyclex, Bing, Kijiji, Foursquare. These are all platforms that people are sharing their experiences on. So there are 2.23 billion users on Facebook, 490 million monthly page views on TripAdvisor, 171 million reviews are left on Yelp, 500 million tweets sent per day, and 4.2 billion posts are liked on Instagram every day. That's a huge, huge, huge volume of people sharing their experiences online and talking about different businesses and different experiences that they've had. We have another question, Nicole.
So it's okay to utilize some statements or testimonials from colleagues who know me in a previous life prior to starting my business, speaking to my capabilities, knowledge, and customer service, and so on.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, what you would need to do is ask them to share those experiences they've had with you on those platforms, though. So you can't transfer existing testimonials onto Google reviews or Facebook reviews. You would have to ask them to do it. So you can provide them with a link to your Google My Business profile and say, hey, I'd really appreciate it if you shared your experience in dealing with me in the past on Google reviews or on Facebook, or whatever platform you want. But yeah, absolutely. Tap into some of those previous relationships that you've had, and encourage them to share the experience that they've had with you, even on working on previous projects or in a previous business. That's fine. So 2/3 of people are more likely to buy from you if they find positive comments about your business online, and half are less likely to buy if those comments are negative. Now, a 1-star improvement of a business's average Yelp score can actually increase revenue by up to 6%. Yelp did a study, and they discovered that just by improving your Yelp score, it can have a direct impact on revenue by up to 6%, which is incredible when you think about it. And the reason for it is consumers are controlling the conversation, and users trust user-generated content more than they trust traditional media. So an example here is, let's say you are a restaurant in Winnipeg and you believe that you have the best chicken noodle soup. So you run an ad in the Winnipeg Free Press, you buy some airtime on a couple of different TV networks, you run some radio ads telling everyone how awesome your chicken noodle soup is. But then after building awareness for your product or service, a bunch of potential customers Google your business and they see all the reviews that come up. That's one of the first things that you see when you Google a business name, is that they Google My Business profile. So all these reviews come up, and the last 20 of them said, you know what, the chicken noodle soup was just okay. I'd only give it a 3-star out of 5-star. Who do you think that potential customer is going to trust more? You, because you told them that you're so awesome, or the previous 20 clients that gave you 3 stars because your soup is actually just okay? So users trust user-generated content more than they trust traditional media. So when a tweet like this goes out, thank God it's Friday, I can't wait to get out of this stub-sucking hellhole, or a status post like this, oh my God, I hate my job, no one listens to anything I say, even when I'm trying to make our customers' lives easier. or a terrible review like this. The worst experience I ever had. I do not recommend. As a business owner, it's critical and it's really important for you to be able to find this information and understand how to deal with it and how to handle it. Because your reputation isn't just what you tell people it is. It's what all of these people who are sharing their experiences say about you as well. Now, if there's lots of user-generated content associated to your profiles, the strength of your reputation will increase. So the goal is to improve your digital reputation or visibility at the same time that you're improving your reputation. So how do you develop a winning reputation that's positive and visible? Well, there are a few things you can focus on: listings and visibility, reviews and mentions, competition monitoring, and social marketing. So how do you build visibility? So visibility, again, is about making it easy for people to find you online. So you need to make sure that you are listed on all of the appropriate business directories and apps and different platforms out there that will help improve your digital presence. The other thing that's critical is that once you're listed on these platforms, you need to work hard to make sure that the listings are accurate across the board so that there's consistency across the listings. And the reason that that's so important is, as a consumer, there's nothing worse than typing in a business name and getting conflicting information come up in Google. So on one website, it might say, oh, their address is 123 Portage Avenue. But on a different website, it might say it's actually Unit 23, number 1 Portage Avenue. But then another website might say it's 123 Main Street. It's not Portage Avenue at all. So making sure that your information that is on these business directories is accurate and up to date is critical. And it's critical because not only does it drive consumers crazy, but it makes Google happy. So the more accurate your listings are, the higher the possibility that Google will give you better ranking in their search engine. Google's whole premise and the reason they are so popular as a search engine is because they want to make sure that they're providing their users with the best possible results. So if there are two plumbing businesses, one of them has a bunch of listings that are accurate and up to date, but the other one has 20 different listings and half of them are inaccurate, Google's going to look at that and say, well, we want to give our users the best experience, so we're going to give preference to the guy who keeps his listings up to date. And so they'll give him a ranking boost and actually penalize the other business. So accurate listings make customers happy, but they also make Google happy as well. Reviews and mentions. Online reviews really are marketing gold. Now, there are 3 tips or 3 steps to being successful with online reviews. So one is to always engage the reviewer, regardless of whether that review is positive or negative. And, we're sometimes asked, why would you engage with somebody who's just given you a terrible review? And the answer to that is pretty simple. So before these review platforms existed, if a client or a customer had an issue with a product or service, they would usually do one of 2 things. They would either call you or they'd come to your business and say, hey, what the hell's going on? And you would be forced to deal with that situation. You'd be forced to engage with them and you'd be forced to try and rectify the problem. It's no different online. If somebody leaves a terrible review for you, engage with them and say, hey, listen, we're really sorry you had a bad experience. We want to get to the bottom of it. We want to make sure that ultimately you're happy. Shoot us an email or give us a phone call so we can deal with it for you. Not only will that help you rectify the issue, but it will show other potential customers that you care enough to actually reach out and to try and fix the problem. So engage the reviewer. Number two is think of reviews as management tools. If you are getting tons of reviews talking about how awesome a particular staff member is, perhaps that's an opportunity to reward them and give them a pat on the back and say, hey, thanks so much for your efforts. On the flip side, if you're getting tons of reviews talking about your terrible service or how slow you are or bad customer service, perhaps that's an indication that you need to invest in some training and updating of procedures and policies and things like that. So use reviews as management tools. And then the last tip to review success is harvesting that user-generated content. So, if somebody leaves a review for you, use those reviews to their fullest potential. Publish them in your marketing materials. Excuse me, pop them on your website. Use them to show other potential customers that you've done a great job. Monitoring the competition. So monitor the competition and outdo them. So keep an eye on what your competitors are doing. If they're posting on social media regularly and they're engaging with people on social media, try and outdo them. Try and do better than they are. Post more updates than they are. Engage with people. Obviously, aim for better reviews. Compare placement in searches for different keywords and develop content around weaker ranking terms. So if you aren't appearing as high up in Google as your competitors are, try and develop content around the products and services that you offer that are important to you so that you show up ahead of them. And watch for their offers and then jump in at the right time. So if they have a special deal, keep an eye on that and see whether it makes sense for you to jump in and offer a special deal as well. So let's talk a little bit more about social marketing now. So it's one thing to monitor your online reputation. We've spoken a lot about that this morning so far. But how do you build a social presence? Well, being successful on social media is really about accomplishing three things. It's about building a fan base and getting lots of people to follow you and building a community. It's about generating leads. And it's about utilizing social media for customer service purposes. So there are really three ways to build a fan base and to build a social community. One, and this is the hardest, is to post interesting and relevant content on a regular basis. Now, it's important to vary your posts. You don't want to always be promoting. Nobody would watch a TV channel that just has ads on it 24/7. So you shouldn't do that with your social media accounts either. You need to vary the content. You need to make it interesting and engaging. Perhaps what that looks different for all businesses, but perhaps it includes some behind the scenes type content. Perhaps it includes some educational information on a product or service. Perhaps it includes a weekly joke. But the idea here is you want to create content that keeps your audience engaged and is interesting and relevant for your audience. Now, you can post some promotional content, but don't overdo it. We usually recommend the rule of thirds. So 30% interesting, engaging, educational, 30% promotional, and 30% just general interest, fun type content. Connect with influencers in your marketplace. So look for and do a search for on social media for people who have big social followings in your industry or in your industry category. So an example here, let's say you're a restaurant. So do a search and look for all those local food influencers and food bloggers. And then reach out to them and see if there's an opportunity for you guys to do some sort of cross promotion. Maybe you can say, hey, we'd love to have you come and dine with us. Dinner's on us. If you can help us and share your experience with your audience. So connect with people in your industry who have some influence on your potential customers, and see if you can build a relationship there and get them to share your content and get them to introduce your business to their fans and followers. And then create deals and coupons and offers that are very specific to social media. Now, this doesn't have to be monetary. It can be, contests. It can be a whole range of different things. But, the idea here is to try and create an habitual audience. So an audience that comes back over and over again for a specific deal or a specific offer. But you want to try and create an habitual audience with the special deals and offers you're putting out. Now, having a fan base is great, but likes don't always equal new business. And this is something we come up against a lot. So, we'll often deal with small businesses who say, our competitors have 10,000 likes on their Facebook page, but we've only got 1,000. So how can we get more likes? And my response to that is, well, would you prefer 1,000 likes from customers who are actually potentially going to do business with you? Or would you prefer 10,000 likes from just random people that, really you might not have a great deal of chance of doing business with? So having a fan base is great. Having a large fan base is great. But those likes don't always equal new business. Besides, who's really going to like a pharmaceutical company or a bioscience company or a nutritional supplements company or a snowblowing company on Facebook anyway? But the thing is, consumers are declaring their intentions on social media every single day. And those intentions are real-time leads. So imagine you are a snow clearing company. Do you know how many people tweet about snow clearing? We're actually going to take a look. I'm going to show you how many. So let's jump in here and do a quick search and see if we can see how many people are tweeting about snow clearing. You have a question, Nicole?
Yes, we do. How do you create a habitual audience for services that are only needed occasionally, like renovations?
Oh, that's a great one. So what you could possibly do there is maybe create some how-to videos that you share on a weekly or monthly basis. If somebody's renovating their home, and I'll share my personal experience. I have a 100-year-old home in the West End, so I'm over near Polo Park, and we've been renovating it for the last 5 or 6 years. And whenever I want to take on a new task or whenever I want to take on a new project, I look for videos on how to do it. So I'll jump on YouTube or I'll do a Google search for, how do I do this? How do I connect this wire? How do I do that? So maybe create some awesome how-to type videos and share those on a regular basis to try and get people coming back over and over again. So there's different things that you can offer that, again, aren't necessarily monetary, but help to create that habitual audience. So in here, we're going to do a quick search on snow clearing. So let's see. Now, I only want businesses that show up within a 25-mile radius of my address. So let's see what we can pull up. And here we go. Okay, let's maybe do snow blowing. So what I'm actually doing here is typing in keywords and looking for people or businesses who have mentioned these keywords on Twitter. So let's type in something else. Let's type in, I'm going to type in web design because I'm a web designer. Okay. So what this particular tool will do, and there are other tools like this out there, but again, if you type in a keyword, it will actually provide you with an alert showing you, anybody who's used that keyword on Twitter in particular, within a 25-mile radius of your address. So this tool actively allows us to go out and search for leads based on the keywords that people have used. So again, there are lots of tools out there that will enable you to do this, but the idea here is instead of passively waiting for leads to come in, go and look for them. Go and find some of these tools that allow you to search for different keywords that are being used. Let's see if we can type in another one. I'm going to type in website design. And sometimes you have to vary the keyword that you use to bring up results. Or let's do social media. Okay, so here are a bunch of people talking about social media. So this could, the idea here is I would go through these and see if there's any opportunities for me to reach out to them and offer some social media help or expertise. Nicole, we have another question.
We do. How do you create excitement and clients for home care on social media? How do you get people to see us?
Yeah, that's a tough one because going back to the very first part of our presentation, when we spoke about understanding who your ideal client is. So when it comes to home care services, is it the person who's actually engaging with your services, or is it perhaps the kids that are hiring you to visit their family? So again, understanding who the ideal client is or who the client is will then help you develop content that's focused on and designed to appeal to them. And the way to appeal to them, again, is by appealing to that emotional benefit that you offer. So while the content that you might create, may not be exciting and fun, you can certainly create content that appeals to the emotional benefit of the products and services that you're offering, as long as they're targeted at the right people. Looks like we had another question pop up.
Yes, we did. I don't use Twitter. Could you speak to LinkedIn for B2B?
Yeah, and again, LinkedIn is a great tool to generate leads on as well. And again, the strategy with LinkedIn is a little bit different. But the idea there is LinkedIn is a wonderful platform to help you position yourself as an industry expert. So the way that we use LinkedIn, or the way that I use LinkedIn, is to share my expertise. So in addition to sharing information and content and post and links to our blog that talk about different topics, like that all helps position me as an industry expert. But I also respond to and comment on and answer questions on other people's posts as well. So using LinkedIn to help position you as an industry expert is an awesome way to generate leads. But again, even LinkedIn has tools that enable you to search for different keywords. And you know what? I'll actually jump in there. We've got a little bit of time. So I'm going to jump into LinkedIn. And I'll show you how this works. So as a digital marketing agency, what I can actually do up here in the search bar, if I type in digital marketing, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do the hashtag. Okay, so I've just put in hashtag digital marketing. So what that's actually going to do is pull up all of the posts where people have discussed and talked about digital marketing. Okay, so what that's going to enable me is, first of all, identify people who are interested in and who, who either follow or use this hashtag. So now there's, an instant audience that I know is interested in the products and services that I have to offer. So I'm going to engage with these people. I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to respond to their comments and questions, and again, help position myself as an industry expert in this particular category. So, use the search function and the search tools to look for opportunities. I'm going to do home care. Somebody mentioned home care. So here's home care assistance. Here's a hashtag, home care assistance. So if I click on home care assistance, here are some posts from people who talk about home care assistance. So again, this is a great opportunity for me to go through these and see if I can offer some experience and expertise. So that's one of the ways that it is a great way to generate leads on LinkedIn. Okay, so we are almost done. So the point here is social media gives you the opportunity to connect with nearby customers who are ready and willing to purchase. So each platform has incredible search functionality that allows you to search for people talking about, your industry or your products and services. But there are also some awesome third-party tools out there that allow you to refine that search even more. So not only can you look for keywords that people use, but you can refine that search to geography. So you can say anyone that mentions this keyword within a 30-mile radius, I want to know about it. So, social media gives you the opportunity to reach people who are talking about and who are interested in your products or services. It's not just about promoting yourself, it's about looking for people who are looking for your products and services. So the recap here is consumers control conversations. Businesses' brands are no longer exclusively what they say they are. Today, brands are largely defined by consumers and your customers. Monitoring your reputation isn't enough though. You need to know what your customers are saying, as well as how to manage that info and build your reputation. And then social media isn't just about building a network of followers and likes. It's also about using those platforms and looking for people who are interested in your products and services. Use those platforms to generate leads, conduct customer service, and all in order to gain return on investment. So that is the presentation. So yeah, we've got just a couple of minutes, I think, if there's any more questions that have come through.
I did have one comment, they were saying that they find a customer who's had a bad experience is engaged and made to feel happy, right? Because you're going to try to make it better. And that emotional journey can create more loyalty in the long run, as long as you don't mess it up the next time.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I've got an awesome experience that I'll quickly share with that speaks to exactly that. We worked with a restaurant chain who offered every Tuesday, kids eat free. So they would promote this all the time. Kids eat free on Tuesday. One particular customer had driven in from outside of the city for this kids eat free night. And unfortunately, the place was packed. There were no high chairs. It was packed. They couldn't get in. So that customer wrote a terrible review on Facebook and on Google saying, why the hell would you promote a kids eat free evening when you don't even have enough high chairs to service it? So in response, the business or us working with the business responded to that person and said, thank you so much for your feedback. We totally appreciate where you're coming from. And as a result, we've actually just gone out and purchased 5 new high chairs for each location. So that person then responded and said, oh my God, that's incredible. I'll be back there for dinner tomorrow night. So in that situation, that business turned a terrible experience for that customer into a positive one, and created a loyal customer out of it.
Okay, that's great. It's exactly that, is like you're needing to fix those problems immediately and make them happy. And just letting everybody know that you will get a copy of the presentation by end of day today.
Yes.
And I just have a few notes here. So merci, Erin, again, for this great information in this digital presence series of social media webinar. Also, a big thank you to Tech Manitoba for collaborating with us on this e-commerce series, and for all of you for joining us today. Please note that the WTC Winnipeg is here to help you any way we can. We are a reliable and trustworthy resource during this difficult time. Feel free to connect with us by phone or by filling our business information request form, as well as other resources that have been sent in the chat box. We hope to see you at our upcoming seminars. Check our lineup for November and December on our website. Please join us for our next great partnership webinar with the Winnipeg Chamber of Commerce on November 13th, next Friday, Making Inclusion a Company Value with RBC. And Aaron is doing such a great job. We will have him again on November 19th for his new Digital Presence Series advertising webinar. So I wish everybody a very great day. Bonne journée. Stay safe and healthy.